Shout out to the actor who plays Uncle Phil for liking a comment that I put under his Instagram post about this show. Definitely the show is fire.
Let's take over the whole world. That's what we're made for.
Hey everyone, it's Bianca Melrose. Welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss on any of my content. Okay, so let's jump right into this review. So I feel like everyone needs to stop hating on this remake. It's not supposed to be the exact same thing as the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Obviously, you know, this is a dramatic retake on the original. So obviously the characters are going to be a little bit different. The plot is going to be very different than the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which is the material that it is simply based off of. This show was giving me like All-American vibes, that show on the CW, All-American, where, you know, this young kid from the wrong side of the tracks comes in and moves in with this wealthy family. This one is different though, because he's not moving in with strangers, he's moving in with his real family. It's also giving me the OC vibes, which is another show about a young kid from the wrong side of the tracks who moves in with a strange family that he does not know. So it's interesting. I feel like this story has been done a few times before, but obviously this one is very different take. Right away, the language of the show had me shook. They do not hold back on this new retelling of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. They're using language that you would not have found on television a few years ago. So I think that's a really interesting choice that Peacock made. They're using the N-word, they're using all kinds of curse words, and now it does make the story feel a lot more authentic than if they didn't use that language. But I do think that it is an interesting choice because I was not expecting that, and I don't think that the audience was expecting it. And in this series, we actually see how Will lands in Bel-Air. They actually show the fight that he gets into at the basketball court. A gun is pulled out, Will is arrested. His mom is scared for him, of course, and that's when she sends him to go live with his uncle and aunt in Bel-Air. So the characters on this remake are really interesting to me as well. Will is still, you know, a very lovable character. He's on the basketball team. He's got a lot of swag. The girls like him. Interestingly, he ends up going for a girl that his cousin was previously involved with, and this causes a lot of drama. I don't think the original Will would have done something like that, unless I'm forgetting about an episode or something. I don't know, I haven't seen the original Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in a very long time. This series also goes through and dissects Will's life in West Philly and kind of the trauma that he brings from West Philly with him to Bel-Air. So it's interesting. They're not staying away from what he went through in West Philly. They're bringing it to the new series. Carlton. Carlton is a much different character this time around. He's very, very, very unlikable. He's on the lacrosse team. So he's not the nerd necessarily that he was in the original, but he is kind of lame in a different way. Again, there's this narrative that Carlton is not black enough, as there was in the original as well. So that'll be interesting to see play out. A lot of people make fun of him for being on the lacrosse team instead of being on the basketball team. He lets his white friends use the N-word around him, which is really interesting to me. And that's something that Will calls out about Carlton and his friend Connor. And Carlton seems to defend his friend Connor's use of that word. I love Hillary. Coco Jones is absolutely amazing as Hillary. She is the fashionista and a YouTuber. They make it seem like she's struggling with her YouTube channel though, which I find very hard to believe. Someone that rich and prominent would not be struggling with her YouTube channel. She would be the Olivia Jade of Bel-Air, and I feel like they're making it seem like she's not. Like she's, at one point she was gonna go live in a YouTuber's house with like all these other content creators, and that just would never happen. Hillary would be thriving in whatever she wanted in YouTube and cooking and whatever she wanted, and I think that the show gets that very wrong. She would be the Tila Dunn of YouTube. And she would have all kinds of lucrative brand deals. She would not have a problem with money. She would not have a problem with subscribers or anything like that. So that feels a little off to me. Ashley's character is dealing with her sexuality. She is not straight in the new one, and that's really interesting to me. That actually trended on Twitter a few weeks ago. People seem to be offended by the fact that Ashley is no longer straight in the new series, and for some reason a lot of people didn't like that. But I think that this will be a really interesting topic to be explored a lot more in the later episodes. It wasn't really talked about too much, but it was touched upon. It feels like Aunt Viv is a lot less assertive in this new one. I feel she needs to be more assertive with her family, certainly with her daughter. And I don't know, I also feel like she needs stronger storylines. I know she's got this whole thing going on with Michael Ealy's character. Maybe she's going to have an affair. I don't know at this point, but that would be interesting to see something different from the new Aunt Viv. Uncle Phil is super cool. Just like, he's definitely different than the Uncle Phil that we are used to in the original series, but he is super cool in this new series. I like that he was in a black fraternity. I think that that was a really great touch to this, into his character. He still seems to be about his family above everything, and I am definitely looking forward to seeing more from Uncle Phil's character. Jazz's character, there's not been too much said about him yet. He is an Uber driver. He has a thing for Hillary. We'll see if anything comes of that. And yes, so that is my take on the new Bel-Air. I only seen 6 episodes so far, so I'm only 6 episodes in, but those are my thoughts. Let me know if you've watched Bel-Air and what you think. Will you continue to watch? What do you think is going to happen with Will? What do you think is going to happen with Carlton? What do you think of their little rivalry? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel.